in MIDI, we have allocations of each number of the dynamic, so, or each text of the dynamic. For example, you have hello everyone and welcome to another episode of Harmonic TV. Today we're gonna review another piece from the subreddit composers. I hope that you enjoy. Let's go. All right, so now let's listen to the first piece, which is called Light Seeker by Jinghan, I think is your name, if I'm saying it correctly. If not, my apologies, but do let me know. I'm really curious. All right, so let's go. All right, beautiful, beautiful. I really like it. And yeah, at some point it really takes you away. Like you go into a state of, feeling and really, really expressive. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. And I have some tips for you to, so if you want, you can work on them. And let's go. All right, so as usual, let's start with some engraving and notation tips, which I think you've done a great job, but some things that you can improve. For example, the distance between your staff can be increased for better visual representation of your score. So this can be, you can really utilize this space. So make sure to make it a bit bigger, and maybe you can even use a tinier, a bigger font. Like one step higher or two steps higher. But that's up to you if you want to change it. Other than that, some things about your tempo notation. So it's always nice to have a tempo number here as well in the beginning, because your musicians need to know what tempo should they start on. So just rubato is not enough for the tempo indication. So make sure you put the tempo marking here as well, and then under it, or for example, you can root tempo rubato and then the tempo indication that you want in front, the number. Here as well, you can write, maybe write a feeling here, andante, allegro, whatever you want. And then you can write also, if you want a more expressive text here. I mean, make sure you watch my other videos. I explain this as well there, but it would be nice to have something other than just a number, because number doesn't inspire, text really inspires. Another thing is with your dynamics, and that is, I see you have mezzo piano and mezzo forte, which is clean and nice, but realize that when you have it with a MIDI recording, it's more, it's gonna the playback is gonna sound way more distinct than when a normal musician plays it, okay? So these dynamics, you have to realize that in real life might sound a bit different. So musicians might exaggerate this mezzo piano to this mezzo forte, so maybe they might do it piano to mezzo forte than to mezzo piano, So this is it's a bit different, because in MIDI we have allocations of each number of the dynamic, or each text of the dynamic. For example, you have piano, pianissimo, and up to like fortissimo, the triple forte, blah blah blah, that you guys know already. But at the same time, these are allocated with MIDI numbers, and they are 0 to 127. And this is like a typical MIDI velocity. The minimum is 0 and maximum is 127. So when you put mezzo piano, it might register it as like 60. And then when you have mezzo forte, it might register it as, for example, 60, 67. So you can cleanly see the little bit of a sound difference here. But in real life, maybe your musician is going to do 40 here, and then here is going to do like 60. So it's just something to bear in mind about the differences when you are when you write music and when it's something you want to hear. Okay, and now we're continuing with the notation. So this is something what I do always with my scores, and maybe it's something you would like to do as well, is that when I have ritenuto or rallentando or accelerando, any of these tempo changes, you can actually make a little line, squiggy line, or just a line, and then at the end you put the tempo that you want it to go. For example, if it's like 84, you put 60. So then your musicians would know that this is the duration that they need to decrease it, but make sure it's small, it's tiny and inside the parenthesis, so they know it's not like a literal tempo marking there. It just needs to land to 60. And as I said before in the other videos, you guys should be as much as clear in your scores as possible, because if you don't, they're gonna do whatever they want, and we don't want that. We want them to do what we want. All right, so first of all, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And the second thing is that if you are in a hurry, or if you have a commission or something, or you want me to review your pieces earlier, consider becoming a member to the channel. And of course, because of your support, I can make videos faster and more cooler. So let's go. And also, whenever you have tempo changes. So for example, molto rallentando here, you can again put like a double squiggy here, sorry, not a squiggy, but just a double bar line, which it shows that, hey, the tempo has changed again. So it was molto rallentando. It's also nice for musicians to know your part has changed, you know, just for the eye, because you know, oh, okay, this was one thing, and now it's the other thing that's happening, okay? Another accelerando here that it's not clear where it goes, for example, is this one. Always make sure the squiggy is there, you know, and then the tempo that you want. For example, if you want this to go to like an actual tempo that's going to continue, you can write it in a big font, like a normal font, for example, 120 or whatever, and then the squiggy if you want it to increase here, okay? So don't leave it to the musicians to do what they want. All right, let's go down a bit. Now, I want to tell you some stuff about the form in your music, okay? So, what I hear right now is that you have like mini sections. Let me change the color of this. Whoop, let's make it to green. So, you have different stuff here, right? You have one here, the texture, right? And then you have this, which is inspired by this. And then you have this one, right? And it goes down. And for example, it comes here. But you have a new texture also there. And it goes down again. So it continues. You have kind of like a theme here. But then it's the same texture. It goes down. And then here you have a new one. Okay, and then it goes down again till here. And it goes back down to here. Okay, and then it goes back here, and this goes back to the beginning. Okay, so what is not clear to me as a listener is the direction that you want to take the music. Okay, so what can help? Two things can help. Is to first of all to put another movement in between something like another texture somewhere between, and a slow one. Okay, so just very slow, very gentle, maybe like a chorale, like, you know, like just four voices here, four voices there, gentle. So, and why am I saying that? Because if you put a slow movement between the fast movement, okay, your piece, it's gonna give a moment for your audience to absorb your music, okay? And other than that, you're doing like a continuation, like a bombardment of information to them, which is really nice, okay? Don't get me wrong, it's amazing music. But you want them to actually understand it at some point, because the information is too much, like it's just continuously giving information, but at some point you need some pause, okay? And of course, another movement, a slow movement in the middle would help, or even more slow movements, okay? But a silence also can help. You know, if you put just a silence, for example, here, imagine here, if you put like a fermata here, that is like 3 seconds, and then you write 3, and then in a parenthesis or something, you know. So get a tiny bit of a silence, or the slow movement. The other thing that can help, and I said that the direction is not clear to me, is that, for example, to me, I think your goal is to create like a theme and variation, or maybe not. If it's not a theme and variation, then it would be something else. But then, if it's theme and variation, I would want it to be a bit more clear. Like if I want to hear it, I would want it to be more clear that, okay, this is the theme, this is the variation, okay? But then you might say, this is not my goal, okay? And then what I would suggest is that to make your parts really separate. So not like not like a continued piece, but like mini movements. Okay, and then also for the player, it becomes clear that, hey, this is another movement. Okay, so for example, this can be another movement here, and it goes down. This can be another movement, so really separate scores. Okay, and then they also will, like, if you have musicians performing your music, they're also gonna do it with a different feeling, you know, because it's another chapter, it's another texture, it's another world. So they don't come with the same mentality that they were before to the next movement. Okay, if it's in one page. And what I would suggest is that when you separate the movements, exploit your elements even more, because you are doing great, it's awesome, but I would suggest continue a bit, you know, like to go a bit more with them, because they're so nice, you know, like dee da dee da dee da dee da. This is so nice, you know. And before it goes to this, for example, this texture, I would suggest you can play a bit more with it, because to me it was a bit jumpy, you know, it was a bit too sudden. And then you see this immediately goes to here, to, you know, to blend them a bit. When you have more time, then you have more power to manipulate your music to the way that you want. Okay. And so, yeah, your form, make sure to think about it more, about the direction. So, for example, you say, this is my fast movements. Or, for example, you have 5 movements, six movements. You say, okay, this is my fast one. This is my slow one. This is my, I mean, be literal with yourself, you know, like literally, what is it? This is my, like the feeling of a spring. This is like crazy. This is happy, you know. And then you can make like an arc. You can make like a arc here, like to say, okay, this is where it goes, and this movement is like the crazy one. And then if you think like this, then you can say, oh, okay, I will think about the dynamics here, if I want to make it forte, if I want to do it like a very like a big gesture there. But yeah, other than that, that was it. And I hope that I helped you with your piece. And yeah, as usual, if you have stuff, let me know. That was it, everyone. I really hope that you enjoyed this video. If you have questions or comments, do leave them in the comment section. And if you already sent me your piece, don't worry, I'm working on it, and it will be there soon. So take care, and bye-bye.